Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Alchemist and Oracle, a space where we engage in spiritualized conversations. Stop it! That deepen understanding, inspire transformation, and spark meaningful dialogue about life's most profound truths. I am Nicole of the Oracle, and I am joined by this person over here known as the Warrioress Ardeshir A'ren, better known as the Alchemist, also known as the Alchemist. So, welcome to the Alchemist and the Oracle. Welcome back to those of you who are subscribed to the channel. And if this is your first time, welcome. We hope that you will subscribe and join the community. So today we're getting in conversation about awareness. And she is leading the conversation today. So buckle up.
Hey, we're shaking, y'all. We're about to dive into another sacred conversation. And the topic is about awareness. And we were kind of talking and sharing and realizing that we speak about awareness a lot. And so I wanted to go ahead and share what awareness is spiritually and from a alchemist perspective. That's my word. If it's in the dictionary.
What?
I told you I have my own dictionary. If y'all don't know, I have my own dictionary.
Can you repeat said word from said dictionary?
From an alchemist view.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, is that going to be our next topic?
I'm
sorry. Alchemist.
That's funny. Alchemist point of view. Okay. Oh my God, yeah. So this is something that sits in the heart of every spiritual journey is awareness. So I have my notes because I have to tap off some, examples and to keep me, you know, in alignment with my speaking or sharing journey here. Um, this is a very, very good word because now we're at a real place as we come up, which I think we thought we might talk about with the upcoming year being a 1 year, and everything shifting. This is at a point where we need to start letting go and releasing. This is a transformative time right now. And so when we think about awareness is more than just paying attention. It's a divine conscious within within you, within all of us actually. It's the silent observer that sees through the illusion, and we talked about illusion, deceptive intelligence, the sacred spark, that fire that transforms your shadows into light. And I don't remember we've even got into that. We can speak about it later to understand the shadows of work into light. So we'll be sharing in this episode with you through what awareness truly is from a spiritual perspective, from my alchemic perspective, and how to recognize it when you're living stuff. I love, y'all, laughter is good for the soul. So my gut is laughing. I'm trying to control it, but it's an awesome day in the land, okay? And when you're drifting away from it, and how gently you get to return to it in your daily life. So just take a deep breath and get ready, y'all. And we're going to open the heart and allow the awareness to meet itself in the moment. And so, because this is, like I said, where transformation begins, and with everything that's going on, y'all might be noise, some shifts, some chaotic. So I just want you to woo-saw in the moment, especially for the rest of October. Um, and we'll begin. So we're gonna have this kind of back, and forth of what this really is. So when we talk about awareness, y'all, it's from a spiritual point of view, we're really talking about the part of us that just simply notices. There's things that I think, push to the side, shoved to the side, that give us, you know, some perspective. So it's this quiet space that watches our thoughts, our emotions, and even our reactions, but we don't want to get lost in them. So awareness is like this light of the soul that shines through everything. And I'll give some examples too of every experience that you go through. It's the divine observer in you. So, the one who's aware that, you're thinking, what you're feeling, and to be aware of what pulls you in a different directions sometimes. Because sometimes we get yanked and pulled. And I know that awareness is the starting point to your transformation. You can't transmute what you don't see. Remember, so we see it, and you want to become aware of it. So awareness becomes that sacred spark again that begins, to light and bring hidden parts to light, your patterns, your fears, and your truth. So the more that you live from awareness, the more you begin to realize, that you are not your thoughts. Because we've had these conversations in the training. We're not your thoughts, we're not your emotions. You are the consciousness behind them. And that's where the awareness and that's where the power in the spiritual creator truly begins with you. And for me, I like to use inner knowing, to a degree. And I know I've used one of my examples with my stomach when something is just not right, or you're about to make a move and you get this little inkling. For some people it's the stomach, for some people it's somewhere else, and everything kind of relates back to itself. And I think I've mentioned in other sequence, but everything is kind of connected. So when I look at it, it's kind of one of those things. So I know that for you, ours here, and have you chime in, my darling co-host, perhaps, sharing what senses about awareness as a frequency or energy that speaks through, the higher self, So I want to add a little bit to that in this perspective here.
The frequency that speaks, okay, that's very high level.
It
Okay,
is.
listen, I think you have to be very practiced and tapped in to like get that level of awareness. Um, but simply speaking, like simplistically speaking around awareness, I would say it's about measuring things so you can get a sense of what needs management. That's how I would say it.
Okay. Okay.
So that can mean, so how does that look like? How do I feel about this experience? I feel sad about it. Okay, I feel sad. How can I process through those feelings? How can I be with the feeling of sadness? So it can be on that level. Awareness could also be just being aware that when you go in certain spaces that you just feel like a little off. It can be on that level. So there's different levels of awareness. It's just giving yourself permission to explore what it can mean. So that's
Yeah.
how I
Yeah.
would say, like, on that kind of like leaning into what you were saying, energetically speaking, just feeling into like what you're sensing.
Yeah, sometimes it comes and we kind of dismiss it. So it's like mine is like driving or even sensing or being around a certain space, and I'll get into the depth of how of kind of how that is in determining living in it versus living unconsciously. And there's a huge difference as I transition into that. I understand like, oh my God, I forgot. I meant to take a note of what happened because I normally don't have dreams, and something came up. And I'm like, okay, why did this come up? So I had to ask, okay, something is going on because I know that I'm in a shift of letting go of the past version of myself, right? And so I am
Mm-hmm.
aware that I'm in this state of that. And so now it was like I was on such a high Saturday, right? So, this Saturday, which was, I'll just share, play bid. with. So it's kind of this thing I took over because I never got to play, but it's just really good. And so I was on this high, and I'm like, hi. Then what's gonna say? You got somebody drive you home? I was like, oh no, baby, I'm on natural high. I'm that high. I was that high. It was just a really, really good day, and it was awareness because I also am aware through some things that I've been paying attention to and some insight that I've been getting on it. And so it was a recognition that this was a great day. And I mean, it was a day that you couldn't make this crap up for the first time, yes, I'm competitive. Yes, I'm like to win. And we didn't get up. We beat everybody that came to the table. So I was on that shift and then recognizing and tapping in to the gift, to the giftedness, not thinking about it. Another thing that I'll use different things. So card playing in this particular game, it's a really a game of chance because you have a six card kitty. Bill Wizards is the thing where you have 12 cards, you have a six card kitty, right? And so the awareness that I noticed and shared with my partners that I
You
had these
lost
cards
me.
in my hand.
Yeah, I'm gone.
No, it's something, okay. No, I can't lose. You don't want to lose. You come back to me. So
She
what
said,
I'm
"Come back
coming
to me."
to is an awareness
No, break
that
it
I
down. So
did.
you have a what?
Um, it's a card game. It's a card game.
Uh-huh.
There's a regular one called Bid, called Whisk that we used to play back in the day. But Bid Whisk is a 12 card game. It's a 12 card. Everybody gets 12 cards. You have a partner and you have a kitty. So you deal out six cards for the kitty in your hand. And so you have different cards, different from spades. Spades, high cards win. This one you can have either uptown cards or low town cards, and you get to choose. You outbid everybody, or somebody gets to outbid you, and you get to choose your trump. And then you try to rely on the kitty for a little bit of assistance along with your partner. So in this particular situation, as we were ending, I had these cards, right? And something was just telling me it's like bid, bid, and I ain't know why, I try to relate to the kitty, relate not to the kitty, but an awareness was is that you needed to do this without knowing, because we talk about the not knowing. And so in this, once the bid was made and I didn't make it, so because I didn't bid, and the kitty was turned over, well, there was a couple of cards in there that could have served me. And then to come to find out, intuition was telling me this is little stuff. It don't have to be big, y'all. That my partner ended up having the other card. I could have ran a boss, and the boss means nobody gets any books. The same thing, and most people know the card game Spades. If not, you can check it out. But and that means nobody gets a kitty. So I told her, I said, everything told me to take this bid, and I did not have to know, but it was something that I was supposed to take. And it's just the little things that you matter. You don't have to know why, and you have to take a chance because if you don't know until you do it, but someone was just telling me that. So when I look at the little sites of awareness that the
Hmm.
inner knowing knows it, my my soul knew what the cards were. I didn't have to. All I had to do was take a chance because someone was telling me to go ahead and be it, regardless that I was missing a few cards. Because if I had a listen, then everything would have transferred differently.
Okay. I think I love how you broke down that game because we can translate that to like what we're talking about. So the kitty is divine intelligence. Am I right? Like how would you define find the kitty?
It is a helpful mechanism because it can kind of change and then it can go the other way. It's just like, for example, say I bid it, now the bid, don't get up on the bid, y'all. So, so just say six is an uptown card, which means you need the other team needs two books to set you. So the kitty, you kind of look at your hand and you're like, okay, I got this, I got that, and then you look at possible help from your partner, just like in any other card game. And then the kitty. So yes, it is. So the kitty can either screw you or it can really help you.
So how can it
So
screw you versus
so
help you?
so so technically, like if I bid it a six in diamonds, so diamonds would be my trump. So you know, um, and so you're looking for extra cards, to support your hand, and then you get to chance to throw out cards, and that becomes like your first book. So you get to take the kitty, look at it, pull out some cards. You hope for some aces and some jokers and some other things to support your hand, and even some offsuits with aces and things of that nature. And so if I get it now, sometimes the kitty can still help you. It could have a whole black. If you turn over the kitty and it's all black is I use puppy toes, but it's clubs and spades, then that's kind of messed up if you wanted some diamonds in the kitty. Now, if there's a few aces, you could get an ace of spade, a king of spade. Since I went a bid of six is high cards, it's uptown cards, and I got a few that could help me. So now I don't have no diamonds in the kitty, so I have to rearrange my hand, do that. And you have to get rid of certain cards that you can, but sometimes those offsuits can help you depending on what it is. And so now you're
Okay.
hoping that your partner can help
Okay.
you. But
So
in this sense,
the kitty is
I
divine.
was told to be it, and sometimes I have been bitten. That's how we've been getting up, is not to hesitate, even with the little things when you're being drawn. And in this instance, I had enough spades. I was going to go uptown, and a joker was in there, and another card was in there that would have suited me, and a few others, and then I would have tossed out. But ending up that intuition knew that my partner had another joker and had the ace of spade that I needed. And the rest of it was sense because I had so many of them, and jokers will pull other trump. And we would have ran a Boston. I didn't need to know. All I needed to do was had bid the hand. And sometimes you'll know in the kitty, yes, the kitty is one of those it's all about you don't know, but you can sense it. And sometimes there's people who've done it and have pulled a kitty. I pulled a kitty where I had primarily, all of my trump. So, but
Imagine listening.
it was just something that I was aware of in the moment. And to talk about awareness, even in that game, or I use driving techniques, or I look at other things when you think about, fear and all these things that I'm about to explain here real quickly is the difference of living in it, knowing, or living in the unconscious part. But that was something that I noticed yesterday, and I talked to her, and I'm telling you, it was just that little sense that just made me smile because it was a great night Saturday and just in flow. And I noticed, kind of the shift is going on and stepping into it. And then yesterday I was exhausted. I was exhausted. So I'm like, why am I so tired after coming off of this high? But I know what's happening right now.
The
Today is the
pendulum
20th.
swings the other way. You can't be on that high all the time. That's a lot of energy.
Who you
No,
telling?
seriously, that's a lot of energy. And when you have that, it's like having a baby. You have like a wedding. I think a wedding is a better
The
example.
wedding's a good one, yeah.
Because a baby, I think, requires a lot more physical exertion. But like you get married and you're happy, and then the next day it's just like, oh, just
I
passed
was
out.
it's exhausted, and people
Yeah.
expect like, this whole expectation about how things are supposed to be is a bunch of crap too. So if you're tired, I mean, when you bring up that example, it's like, yeah, well, you can cuddle with each other. If you and I know people be trying to be doing other things when you're exhausted, and I'm
Oh,
just
you
like,
mean
really?
consummating the marriage?
Oh God, that was easy to pick up on.
I mean, you said you could cuddle. I mean, we talked about after the wedding. I wasn't even thinking that, honestly. I was
Um,
just thinking in general terms, like the following days afterwards.
that too.
You may still be on a high as you lead into consummating the marriage.
Yeah.
And that maybe that's what takes you out. I don't know. But my point is you go from a high and then like you go to the low
I
because you're putting
understand that.
so much energy into that experience.
Yeah, but I
Um,
know that we have so much expectation. That's the word that I wanted. Coming off of something
yeah, we have
that,
expectations all the time.
Yeah, and and just to be in the moment, that's another thing. So just to dive in, since we're getting into this section anyway, now now once we now that we are understanding, awareness, what awareness really is that divine presence that observes everything. And that's why I said it doesn't matter where it is. And I like to take the little things to do it because it just comes to you just like that, right? So now it's all about recognizing it. And I recognize those little things that when we're in it and when we've fallen out of it. And so awareness, living in awareness, helps us feel peaceful when life is chaotic. So I had just done something, and I know that spirit is saying, hold off there. It was for me to do no real social media, no none of this during this time right now. But I've done something that on my IG where I went to the lake, I have a great lake nearby, and talked about peace in the chaos. So when you are in or living in this awareness, you will find that you can be peaceful even in the chaotic circumstances. There's clarity there. You can feel emotions without being consumed by them. This is the thing that you want to embrace. You can hear the thoughts and not be ruled by them. So there's a lot that goes on in that, and being in that eye of the storm, everything is swirling, but you are anchored in stillness. So when I was looking at my notes and going through and looking at it, I think about a boat, or I almost thought about, a storm in the Bible where boat is rocking, but if you're anchored, you ain't gonna start going into a whirl spin. So if you're anchored in stillness, then you don't have that. So when you're unconscious, it's just the opposite. You react before you think, and we know what reaction is. And sometimes I have to catch myself in certain things when it comes to services that I've rendered, or when something's got a little screwed up. But we have to realize that things can be corrected, so we just need to, not react, or get caught up in certain things, and especially when it comes to our thoughts, not to get caught up in the stories. We've learned about not doing that in the fears and assumptions. And fear is huge. I don't care. Goes really, really deep with a lot of us. Um, Perfectionism will come up again, so you have to, you identify with the noise, is the opposite of that awareness instead of the truth of your soul. And when I think about the movie Soul, and I think about, this inner knowing, this thing that we even know, and this person, where everybody was telling him to quit and telling him to do everything else, he knew in his indie that he was a pianist that was supposed to play with the best of the best, right? And not to be told. It's just like, you know for me driving, I don't know, some things said I would be it. I like cars. And if somebody got it, I can feel good. Just seems like my one of my boys, we was in this car, in this oh, now I ain't gonna even think of the name of it. I hate when that happens. But anyway, sports car, right? And you don't have to own it. If you can experience with somebody that has it, it's just such a euphoria. And in a piece that about you driving with somebody. I knew I was going to do. I didn't know the dynamics of it. Auto mechanics, knowing that this was going to be a part of that. Getting on the NASCAR track, driving the Budweiser 8 car was a blast. I mean, it was euphoria. So you look at that depth of that in something that you notice about you, and if in awareness just the opposite. So you might notice sometimes that I've noticed lately, because I'm shifting, that conversations, certain things have been coming up, and I've chosen not to judge them, because I was like, why is this coming up, or dismiss it, and you don't want to do that. judging yourself for feeling stuck and what happened, worried about what's coming. And that's just the opposite. But when you're in awareness, that's when awareness has slipped into the background. When you get into that, when you become entangled in the illusion or deceptive intelligence instead of being the observer of it. Like some of the ample, I mentioned. And it's really a really cool part. So the really cool part is the very moment that you notice that you've lost the awareness, that noticing is an awareness of returning in and of itself. So that means you get to start knowing that you're coming, to the truth of you. So a lot of us dismiss it, and that's not something you want to do. So it can take your breath away. You can see it, and you have these aha moments. And I hope that everybody's still with me, and can catch it. And awareness is not about perfection. It's a practice of being aware of what's going on. It's about remembering over and over again who you truly are. The one observed, the one who chooses and transforms continually. It's an ongoing process, as I have here in my notes. Ongoing process of renewal, of recognizing is another word, is recognizing that. And sometimes we dismiss it, just like the little intuitions I told you, all that's connected. So, you know, we have to breathe, we have to be still, just like being in a car, it's like going anywhere. It's just like, when something, it's being aware when something tells you, nope, you want to go this away, but something's telling you to go that away, you go that away because you don't need to know, because you might be being the intuition or the higher power who knows what's happening before it happens is telling you to do something so you can avoid something. So my other awareness with me the other day driving, to the our car, we have a crew. And so, of course, I always throw the GPS on for certain reasons. And my my spirit was telling me, and I was aware it was telling me, nope, don't go that way that the GPS is telling you, go the other way, which kept me on the interstate. And I like the interstate. So that was a smooth ride. I didn't need to know why I was being told not to go the way, and I have went that way before to get there, but I already knew how to get to my long-term family friend's house um, to play. And so I did, and everything was great. Actually, I cut my time down very much by staying on that route. That's just a little example of that set of being aware of being guided, because it's a guidance. You're being guided, you know. And so I just find it so amazing to to have that peace and to connect with that. So I mean, from your oracle perspective, I'm curious about how you sense awareness in someone's energy, for example, or you can choose to go another way. And how someone shifts. It's like to have someone shift from that reaction, that calm, the shift from reaction to calm in a awakened space.
Um, which
Or
direction?
just come from what's being guided with you in the
I will take
conversation.
the second one. The
Okay.
second one, I so I am one that is very grounded into the human experience because the power of that human experience does affect and influence our capacity to pause and reflect, which allows for the space for like awareness, to feel safe, to be aware. So I always I approach it from honoring where people are, meeting people where they are, and encouraging people to to express themselves, to feel how they feel, to not avoid the experience that they have and their thoughts around that, because that is how you tap into being aware. And avoiding it doesn't support you in moving through and getting to a place of stability, of feeling more safe in the world. So it's just simply just encouraging people to be honest about how they feel about things. The more honest you are, the more you give yourself permission, the more you practice that, the more you become aware
Yeah.
of everything. You become more aware of yourself. And I think the more you become aware of yourself, then you're able to you spending more time with yourself, and then you start to cultivate that sense of connection and trust and safety, and you start to trust your intuition, because you can't hear your intuition speak to you if you're not hearing anything that's like going on in your mind, and you have to be aware of that in order to start to get that clarity to
Still an
make
inner
that
knowing.
connection point.
Yeah.
Was that a lot? Are we frozen again?
It's also like coming into the present moment, right? So it is a practice, and like you see me, smiling is such a it's I mean, I don't even know if there's words for it, like but you'll know it. You'll know it.
Or
You'll feel
smiling? Or what? What's the energy you're talking about?
just this, I think it's just this sense of calm and allowing. Also allowing is a
You know what
part, and
that
I'm like
is?
ahead of it. Yeah.
That's connection. That's what connection means. You're connected to your divine awareness, that energy. You're connected to that energy. Because when you're connected to that energy, you have the capacity to not escape life. Because you're like, you know what? Yes, this sucks, but this too shall pass.
Yeah, more so than not. I know that I honor um being sad. I mean, forget you.
Mm,
I mean, but I mean, sometimes when I look at like loss of life or celebrating life, I have a whole different take on it. And I know, even though one of the people I know whose mother just passed in what I would call my second home, because I spent so many years there traveling back. I don't, when I look it back, oh man, yeah, things have been so different, but it is what it is, and I'm here now. But they lost their mother, of course. I know what that's like, and the fact that I knew her and our mothers have met, I believe, um, before this, and to understand what they're feeling, what they were going through, what they were sharing. They had a different experience than mine, because my mother crossed over so quickly after I returned to my home state, and just understanding, and can support them, but still can celebrate it all at the same time. Which I was there because they did kind of a little fashion show. I'd have been right up. I'd have been ready. My brims and
yes, you would have.
yeah, they did a hat. She like hats, and I like my hat. So um, yeah, it's a connection, and to have it, life is so much smoother. Like I said, you be at peace, and it's time, y'all. It's time, because things are shifting in such a way. If you don't, it's gonna everything is gonna just repeat And you don't want that. You want to step into who you truly are. And returning back to that, because when we look back, even as a most childs, when they're young, they're curious and they see things and they're aware of things, and they're very much in their true essence until they're indoctrinated. And so, with the things that we put on them, and that comes up in many different conversations. And I have a meaningful conversation. I try to make it. If my spirit says rest, then it's something that I'll have to do. And that's another awareness of listening to your body, listening to the very thing that it could you, like I told you, it's a second. So we're going to
Mm.
talk about, how to cultivate it in your daily life. This is what I'm will transport into that, because I think it's important that along with some other things that I'll be, sharing in this moment for you, and to understand that the joy that it can bring. So it's like, so how do we begin to live from awareness? Not just to understand it in the mind, but to embody it. That's the huge thing here, y'all. It's how to embody it. And it's about returning. It's about to simply return to you remembering who you really are. Coming back to that again, I think we spoke about before the world told you who you were. You know, one of the most, powerful ways to reconnect to awareness is through presence. So I spoke about presence, so it's slowing down, because I think I've been saying this for a long, long time, that we really, really, really need to slow down. And we need to slow down enough to notice what's happening in the present moment, in the very moment that we are. So we need to start small. And everything begins starting small. It's just like me getting back to the gym, and then, you have to start small. Can't go push, 100 pounds when I haven't done anything in a while. So you just have to start small. One of the good things that I found that I wrote down in my notes that's huge is when we wake up, and I always say, thank you, whoever your higher power is. I think my higher power, which I choose to call God, the universe, all my ancestors, if I remember, and just thank them, and take a deep breath and let your body rise and fall. That's awareness. We talk about breath work. Our spiritual teachers talk about breath work. You have, even in the calm apps, the first thing in my calm app it tells me to do is breathe. As soon as I turn it on, I was like, take a breath. You take a breath. And when you take a breath, you're aware of your breathing. You're aware that you're inhaling and exhaling. Even, the other thing that was really huge is when you're having a conversation, practice listening without waiting to respond. Now that's come up on other different topics. And just witness who you hanging with. Just be present with who you hanging with in front of you. That's an example of awareness. If we're just in the moment with them, hearing them, not trying to fix nothing, just listening, you know. I put that I do this very much is when emotion arises. Now I'm doing it when emotion arises, instead of pushing it away or judging it, it's just like I feel you, and I have been saying that I feel you, I feel you, I see you. What are you trying to show me? It's a gentle recognition of holding space, because it's a transformation, a space for transforming. Awareness isn't a cold, distant thing. It's a compassionate thing for yourself. It allows you to see the shadows of love and not in shame. So when I think about it, feeling, holding space, and just holding that for yourself. Being aware of your very being, ness, is a really good thing. Especially, like I said that there's a lot of things shifting in the atmosphere right now, and a lot of people are feeling it, and you're probably feeling it. And it's for you to recognize it and ask it, what is it? What is it trying to tell you? You know? So when we look at, alchemizing, this part that comes is when you stay in the presence long enough that this awareness is to do its work, to turn resistance into release. Like you were talking about releasing it, right? Taking confusion and getting clarity and taking pain into understanding why. It's just like when your body hurts or something hurts, is if you're paying it attention, not dismissing it, it's something that you need to do differently. It's just like this here with gut and stomach. There's things going on that, to be aware that you need to make a change or a shift. I realize that sometimes that some of us are in pain at so much that we're not aware that we're in pain. And I haven't good miss dismissing pain because there was a time in my life I had no choice but to dismiss it. Doesn't make it good, but it was something that I've become aware of now. And even though I have a high tolerance for it, that means I deserve to endure it on a high level like that. So that's an awareness that I understand, and I'm still working on that because of experiences. So, but yeah, but every moment that we choose this to be aware, to observe rather than react, to reclaim the power that we have is a conscious creator that we're doing. This creation, becoming the alchemist of your own energy, because you are the one, you know. So awareness isn't something that we do. It's about allowing, as I said, it's something to allow. Everything comes back around, right? So you don't have to force yourself to be awake. You just have to remember who you already are, you know? So, I
Sometimes we
know
do have to
from,
force ourselves.
huh? What'd you say,
I
babe?
think sometimes you do have to force yourself because you have to force yourself to turn on the light. That's like it's a directive.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
maybe directive. You have to tell yourself what to do. Sometimes you do in order
yeah.
to change the habit. This is more for people who are like not aware or kind of shut down.
Yes. 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 And I believe what you're saying, that there is a tug of pull or whatever that we dismiss. And so sitting there knowing that, it's like sometimes, I understand my sibling Lord, it's like, being in my head, or that head, and you have to get out of that. That's sitting in your thoughts, sitting into the past or the future, and things are not, the way they be. This whole journey has got me here. I could say, and a little bit about, the background and how I'm here and now. I'm like, no, I'm being told. So when people say I don't want to live, no, I'm gonna live. I desire. The thing tells me that I'm gonna live to this long, but I have to do A, B, and C. So when it comes to physical fitness, I have to do it. I might not have to do it the way I used to do it to get the same results. And that's an awareness that I am embracing as well, to do it differently. Um, because I want to feel better, I want to be better, I want to continue to age gracefully. And it's awareness in the choice choosing. So yes, am I pushing on myself for that? Yeah. But the innateness of me tells me that is key. Um, and so you speak about that. So, to continue, looking at it from intuitive lives from your Oracle perspective, is, what have you noticed that has happened energetically when someone started living from awareness instead of reaction?
It doesn't look the same for everybody.
That's true.
I think
Agreed.
that's the main thing. And I think you have to let go of how you thought it would look. And then also, this is a big one, it changes. It changes from time to time, just kind of based on what's going on around you in the world. And because, everything is energy and we as humans are very energetically sensitive.
So
So
so as we reflect, I'll get to it. So as we reflect on this, and I'll have some things for um for y'all to consider. Um, you know, as we, get to closing this conversation, I invite you to take a quick breath just for yourself. Just a quick breath to come back to you in this moment. Awareness is not somewhere far away. It's right here. It's quietly observing through your eyes, through your breath, through your chest, anything that, experience in life through your soul, through your soul. I love that movie every time it comes up. You know, you are the awareness. And because it comes to you naturally as the divine consciousness expressed it through human form, because you're a spiritual being. And sometimes you are getting signs and to recognize for your greatest and highest good going forward, to be present. We can talk about there's some good things about the past, but some we need to leave the past to step into the version of ourselves, to step into all we ever dreamed of or ever wanted. And this whole thing that I've come is that whatever it is that you desire, you have to become the person so you can step into it, so you can become, so you can be, so you can experience that. You can't sit in the fears and all these different things. You can't experience that. Sometimes we force it and we're like exhausted, we're tired, we're overwhelmed. That does not suit us. And if we're aware of the overwhelm, it's just like me understanding perfectionism and the traits there of it was a huge awareness in that there was more to perfection. I also said there's more to it, and it involves all these different things, from people pleasing to all these different things. And so you want to understand that, and you want to remember, even for a few seconds, everything's begin to shift when you become aware. Like we talked about, it wasn't perfect. It doesn't suddenly become perfect, it becomes presence. You want to be present, you'll start seeing everything, joy, pain, and uncertainty. It's a part of an awakening journey, a good journey. It allows you to live more intentionally, um, and to move through life not from a victim of circumstances, but of a consciousness of being a co-creator with your higher power, the divine. Um, and I have noted here is like huge, huge, huge. It's like the more that you live from awareness, you'll notice that you'll become that you'll be more peaceful, even when life is uncertain. You don't, and the big thing is control. And even though I didn't think I was trying to control things, sometimes we don't know it. And sometimes other people can recognize that for you. We jump controlling. I'm like, no, I know one thing. I know I care about people who are happy and want to serve, but sometimes you just have to just sit back. You don't need to be controlling everything. It's more about trusting the higher intelligence flows through you, higher power flows through you. You know, as we go about our day, we just need to simply notice and recognize. Notice your breath at time, notice the thoughts as we were saying to reflect. Notice the beauty of you, notice the beauty around you. That's why they say go connect with nature, walk in parks, get away from it, put your phone, leave the phone in the freaking car, okay? Just leave it. And not unless I want to take pictures, I can dismiss from that and I'll just take pictures. Big picture person. And I'll be taking pictures I don't even share. So I'm gonna be sharing a whole bunch of stuff here real soon. And be like, did that? No, that was 8 years ago. Forgot to share it.
What is going on right now? That was so
So
random.
what you say? You said,
I said that was so random. I love it.
yeah. I mean, enjoy the small miracles. The quiet stillness is always underneath it all. You know, Sitting in silence because things will come up. Sometimes we're too scared to sit with ourselves. You know, and And there are people busy trying to do stuff. And I mean, you just want to sit with yourself. If you're, I'll just put it, if you're seeking that in the love that you want, you have to sit and you have to become the person to draw, you know, that person to you, almost serene, peaceful, that's not in chaos, that's doing the work. I think drama will always be around, but we understand what drama free means. It's not that things won't happen in the world, but to have all the chaos is like being at peace within. When you come with peace within, drama is gonna fade away. You might see it around here, but it don't have to be in your bubble. You know, like I took my glasses off of that. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, noticing, and noticing is your awareness. That spark, or that, I like to use the word spark, is my word, of your divinity guiding you back home to your very self. So with that said, my dear, I love you to, share with our peoples the remembrance of about awareness and your perspective in this moment as we close down.
I think awareness starts with self-reflection
Mm.
because that's always going to be what matters.
Mm-hmm.
Is your capacity to feel into other people. It has to be with how do you receive giving yourself that awareness and reflecting in how maybe you're adding to the chaos of your life. How are
That,
you
oh,
adding to the
good
chaos to the
one.
world?
It's a good one.
Like, or versus how are you adding to the love? Like, kind of like you talk about attracting a partner, you attract like attracts like. So if you're attracting
Yeah.
chaos, hold that's a mirror. It's a
Huge
like
word.
you are the chaos that
Well,
attracted that chaos.
yeah.
Especially if you invite it in and you stay with it and you date it and you marry it and you're like 5, 10 years in, you're like, I don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also,
Yeah.
too, if you are 10 years and you get to that point and you have that level of awareness of like, wow, this is what happened in my life, you get to
Mm-hmm.
choose something differently.
You do.
I think we have to stop staying in that space of once we become aware of our buy-in, our choices, the responsibility of our
Mm-hmm.
actions, the own taking
Mm-hmm.
ownership, we also get to choose differently. So don't stay stuck in that cycle because it doesn't bring you any level of comfort. You don't need to beat
Yeah.
ourselves up. Like self-awareness is the point of spirituality. That's I will always remember that. Self-awareness leads to self-acceptance, which leads to your capacity to be unconditionally loving to yourself. So you have to start with yourself. That's what I would say when it comes to awareness.
True that. Yeah. I love that. Everything you said about mirrors is just like how the messages coming through at this time is a step into that new is in becoming a new shit is something that that I'm aware that I'll be grieving, and also starting about a grieving point of in the transformation journey of stepping into that
Yeah. That
self.
doesn't get talked about a lot. I remember people don't talk about that part. They only talk about like, oh, it's good on the other side. And it's like it's also really lonely. It's also very like there's
Yes.
grief that happens. There's a letdown that happens as well.
Yeah,
And it's
you know,
all okay at the end of the day, right?
since I stepped the other foot over since our second training, I mean, there was awareness of the that it's not comfortable to not stand in your light, not to allow your transformation to come. That's painful as it
Mm.
might be. There's a grieving process, in becoming anew, um, and doing the work. But
And you're there right now, is what you're saying.
yeah,
But I think
yeah,
that's so vulnerable of you to share. And it's the reminder of the importance of having the awareness in like, okay, I am evolving. I'm also grieving the evolution from where I have evolved from.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I am choosing to allow and I'm choosing to be okay. Um,
Yeah.
that was just like Saturday. I think it was a perfect example of allowing. I mean, and just standing hype and everything was just like really amazing. I mean, I don't think nobody understood it, but they ain't have to, but I know I was in it. It was just crazy, cool, and so yeah, there's a time right now where it requires rest.
Mhm.
Napping came up. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that.
Do you know how to do rest? There's other ways to rest, not just nap that's on the list. You do know that, right? Just take that off of your list because you have the awareness around, yeah, that doesn't align with me right now in my life.
Yeah, yeah, I do. There's sometimes where I've been told to probably go to bed earlier, and that's what
That's how you choose to nap. You just choose
well,
to
I
nap for
haven't
eight
done it.
hours.
Now that's a resistance. That's a resistance. That's an awareness. That's a resistance.
Yeah.
So and to go to bed earlier, get up early, it might serve me to do that. Right now, this is a little bit earlier than not because of the energy that's shifting within, because of the becoming, literally becoming
Because you're in a
and it
9 year right
I
now,
think
right? Personal.
yes,
Oh,
yes,
so you're
and
feeling it even more
personal growth.
intensely because it's
Yeah, they're
universal
aligned.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're aligned. Yeah, yeah. Um,
That's interesting.
yeah.
I go through, I'm kind of ebbing and flowing in the states of like the 9 year, but then I'm also in a 2 year, personal 2 year.
Mhm.
But I think you also identified, I feel like next year is a one universal year. It's going to be
Mhm.
a year of grief and it's going to be a year of I think people are going to be challenged and it's like, but it's a new beginning, but I'm also sad. And some people are going to kind of fight against allowing two things to be what they are at the same time. I think you can be happy and excited. And you can also be sad because there's so much that, because I think about the fact that it stopped in the month of July, but every month there was someone that passed that I knew.
Mhm, mhm,
And there's these moments where you realize like my life is continuing on. It's like, they're not going to be a part of this new core memory.
I know,
And there's
right?
sadness about that, but at the same time, I'm happy that I get to have this new core memory.
Yeah.
So we'll get into this the 1 year, but since you brought it up about grief, that's definitely something that I feel a lot of people are probably already in that space of feeling. Um, but I think it's coming and it needs to happen. We need to grieve the lives that were lost because we
Mhm,
are also in this state of exhaustion because it's just so much going on. It's like all these fires keep popping up and people
mhm.
are doing their best to kind of like put out the fires.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we are just
Going
talking
into a
about
cleanup period. That's what 1 year, this particular one universal year is going to be a cleanup period.
And this is the time as I'm going to go ahead and share some things that I would like you to like y'all to consider, and we'll close. Um, the other thing is this is separate from that. This is a time to start clearing your space, looking at now my clothing. I'm a little funny about my clothing. I'm just trying to get a place where I can stay so I can be in them because I like them. And I'm being gentle with myself because I was there, and I'll get back. And my whole thing is to maintain a certain um, um, body dynamic for myself ongoing without going back and forth 15 months, 16 months, and then doing it. But I also know that I'm in a period that I'm giving myself grace because of the work that I'm doing, get back to eating, doing that, and stepping into the light where I have the chef, where I have this. Just certain things that I don't think are a big deal to share here. Um, and and to let go of old things. It's time to write things on paper and burn them, getting rid of stuff
Mm.
that's that's been good. Some of my books will stay, but I know there's little trinkets, little knickknacks that I carried, and my whole journey here has been there's been so much happening. People might say that 8 years, that is a long time. It's really not, depending on the shoes you walking in. And unless you know that that's not, and now everything happens for a reason. To get rid of the garage, to go through knickknacks, maybe give some stuff away, selling well. Sometime, yeah, maybe I'll get somebody else to do it for me. But with that being said, I have time. So, but to make time to do those things, this is the time to sit still, to get the candles going, to clear space, clear your energy, and step in and not give a freak what nobody says. Nobody has to understand it, but you. No one has to understand the journey that you're going to be the best part of you so you can become and embrace joy. And it's just like what you said before, it begins with self-awareness. And the only way to get that is to do the work. Some of the stuff we share some work. So right now I would like to um, um, bring some things that I'd like to call you to do for yourself. Um, I'd like you to take the time to pause and observe. I'd like you to be able to take, 3 moments during the day to simply just notice your breath, body, and surroundings. I know that some, what is it? Reiki kind of helps you do that as well. And like even before a meal or before respond to a message when you wake up, just ask yourself, what are you reacting, or are you observing? That's a big question. I find myself in observing because I'm finding it so very, very cool. And it's not that I think myself, I think I knew this when I was much younger as well. Um, the second thing I'd like for you is to notice your thoughts and emotions without a judgment. You know, when a strong emotion arises, I would like for you to say, I see you, as I was saying earlier, that I do, that I feel you, and I thank you for showing up. And then you can take the time to journal if you have time. 5 to 10 minutes. Five, you can begin with five. Sometimes when you start writing, it'll go. As long as you ain't got to be in at an appointment or nothing. And you can do it in the car. One of my friends recommended I keep a notebook in my car. Some of these cars have side things on them. I have mine on the passenger side where it sits in there, and you can have that and always have a pen available. And handwriting. Handwriting is one of the best things of how connecting with the universe sees your stuff and writing and how you can release as well. Another thing I'd like you to do, number three, is I'd like you to anchor in presence. I would like you to slowly, either daily, you can do walk or even observe or be present when you're showering. Now, water, I love when water hits my body. I miss having the jacuzzi. Not that I had one before, but I don't know, but I like them. I do stuff, washing dishes, they do. I do. I'm getting that deep soaker
It's
tub. Oh my
coming, okay, baby. It's coming.
God, it is
It's
coming.
already
I feel
here.
it. It's there. It is. It's been told. It's already there. I got to step into it, baby, and fully immerse yourself in it, noticing every sensation. I think being in the shower or even when you're tub in the hot water and you have it, and then like if you use essential oils in the tub and you just embracing that aroma, especially lavender. I like peppermint, but peppermint's like awakening. Lavender is softening, and I love this sage. Oh my God, it's so good. So yeah, so you know this awareness, emotion, and grounding consciousness in just normal moments. These are just everyday moments, y'all. Another thing, fourthly, I like to kind of pay attention to when you're feeling triggered or reactive, to be aware of that. And because of the chaos, you don't have to, even though there's chaos going to war, you don't have to allow or be a part of that as you shift, and don't push it away, just ask it, what is it trying to tell you? What is it trying to show you?
Mm,
You know, Awareness transforms the shadow into insight and alchemist growth. That's my word. So, um, so you're trying to alchemize this, y'all. So, and just a quick daily reminder, ritual is to pick some phrase or something to recite in the morning and evenings. And here's one. I am the awareness behind all that I feel and think, because you are, you know, you are that, and you can reword it whatever way that works for you. Let this become a spiritual anchor for you throughout the day. If you're in the car, if you're at work, if you're at lunch, if you're taking a break, if you're taking away from whatever might be in your space, is the kind of tune. And just, tune into the energy. Notice any tension or heaviness that around you, or lightness. You know, Ask yourself, are you aligned with your awareness in the moment? Or have you drifted to a conscious state or not? you know and it's just some things to consider for that. Do you have anything else you'd like to add, and any things you could suggest? You can take them all or a few of them and work with them. um I think journaling is a good one, amongst all the things or whatever you're doing. Just feel it, you know just be present in that moment.
mhm.
Anything you have before we close out, my dear?
I would say if what she shared overwhelms you, to reach out to one of us and we can help you process through where to start. Um, that's all I have to say. Because a lot of times we need support to
Mhm.
to catch our breath. It's really about like working with other people. They give you the safe space, which signals to your body like, I can breathe now. So you can start to catch your breath, and then you can start to look at the list and figure out what makes sense for you, where to start. That's all I have to say about that.
Wonderful.
You don't have to
Well,
do
I
it
think,
alone. You are not alone. That Michael Jackson song is in my head.
yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, for sure. So
Not
that's
the video,
two.
just the song.
Okay. I don't know if it's on my Spotify. I have to pull it up. Yeah.
Go to
Yeah.
YouTube, look at the video. You'll see why I said what I said.
Oh, okay. 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 I remember the song. Just remember, y'all, I hope in this day's conversation that, we've helped to assist you into reconnecting with that inner observer, that natural divine consciousness that's always guiding us. It's always present, it's always transforming. What no longer serves into wisdom, that no longer serves into wisdom and light. You have to take some time to be still. So everything is present with you. You don't need to find it. You just need to simply return to awareness. That's all you need to do. And I just want to thank you for sharing this space with us today. You know, and I hope if this message spoke to you, that you will go ahead, like it, subscribe to it, and share it with someone who you think might find value in it. And comment below. Like she said, if you want to holler at us, just comment below. We're here for you.
No, don't comment below. Reach out to us, please.
Oh, reach out. Yeah, reach out.
Yes,
Yeah.
reach out. You
That's what,
can
yeah, reach out.
comment. We'll see it.
Oh, that's
But
true.
for those that are like, I'm not gonna comment, you can reach out to us.
Yeah. I
Information
mean, yeah.
is just check the About Us page on our YouTube channel. But
Yes,
do comment.
exactly. Yeah, if you like, yeah, we'd love to hear
You do
what you
need
have to
help, just like
say.
I need help. And hey, we will meet you where you are as best as we can.
Word, word, word.
Well, thank you so much for being in conversation with me. Can you hear that? You probably couldn't hear that. That was loud. Um,
That's
Thank
good.
you. I think this was a great conversation. I hope those that are have watched, you made it this far. Thank you so much. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a future video, the next video. So thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. And please subscribe again. I'm going to keep saying it. We're trying to reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers so we can be more active on this channel because YouTube limits our capacity to connect in a way that we really, really want to
Yes.
connect.
Yes.
So I'll leave it there. Bye.
Hey.